Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to the Football Stooges, the weekly YouTube series where we cover football in the stupidest way imaginable.
And boy, is it stupid.
It's going to be very stupid this week. Usually we have our draft extravaganza. I have a lot going on this summer, so I'm not able to take as much time off as I wanted, so I picked up something. So sadly, we're not going to have a live stream for the draft, which also might be good for our sanity because they dragged this thing out like a dead horse. Like, this is way too long. But anyway, we have a lot to get to. We're going to talk about the UFL, the games that just happened, give you a preview for next week, and then we're going to recap the first round of the draft because by about the time we're done with the UFL, the draft first round could be concluded. And we'll talk about all the picks, and again, we'll watch as Pete Prisco proceeds to give some of the weirdest, draft grades for random teams. But as always, I cannot do this by myself, so my right-hand man, the Pure Hand Sanitizer Football Stooges, who is still fucking painting, is a Macedon.
I got the giant done at least.
There you go. Yeah, it's a big one.
I got 5 Dark Oath Marauder Horsemen. And 10 Chaos
Okay, Chargers.
They do need a running back.
They did.
Also, Jim Harbaugh knows running backs.
He does. He does.
Yeah. And last but not least, only 3 today. The one and only. The one and only Kadov.
Oh no, technical difficulties.
Yep. Just been reacting to the draft so far. We're recording this, of course, during the draft, or at least the first round of it. And if you're watching, and as we're watching right now, the Chargers just picked Omarion Hampton, running back out of North Carolina. They did need a running back.
Yeah. Hey, New England, you're happy with the New England pick?
Oh yeah, I mean we finally got a left tackle. Well, I knew that Travis Hunter was going to be going off the board before then, but to Jacksonville before us, so it was a bit of a surprise.
Cole Strange Jr. out of Holy Cross. No. All right.
It didn't happen. It did not happen.
It did not happen.
I like this tackle. I like this tackle.
All right. We're gonna go ahead and Cole Strange. Hold on. Cole Strange has been solid. Cole Strange has been a very good.
No, yeah, he has. It just felt weird at the time, especially with how much of a reach it was on paper.
Yeah. But let's get right into it. We're going to start with the crossover grid, then we're going to KDF News, and then we will move on from that, and we will move to the UFL recap, and then we'll cover the draft. So here we go. This is a draft special one. So this is all NFC North teams, and this is all draft rounds. So Gorlami and Mamba both aren't here, which sucks.
Oh, boy.
So a Vikings first-round pick, Randy Moss.
Yep. Oh, Bears
Moss,
first-round pick. Bears first-round pick. Terrell Edmonds. I'm trying to remember. One of the Edmond brothers. I think remember if it's Terrell or UNDS.
Randy, Farrell, Terrell.
Terrell. That's it. Terrell.
Nope.
Yeah, that's the one.
So I guess his brother then, which I'm trying to remember.
Tremaine Edmonds.
Jermaine Edmonds.
Jermaine Edmonds. There we go.
That's right.
That's the one.
Okay, a first-round pick.
Virginia Tech. But he was not drafted by the Bears.
Man,
it was
if only Gorlami was here right now.
He would nail these.
Bart Starr's not one.
No, Bart Starr's not one.
First-round pick. Oh, Brett Favre was one, technically.
Yeah. Nope.
Yeah, so was Aaron Rodgers.
Okay, it's got to be for the team. All right, well, it's got to be for the team.
No, it does not have to be for the team. No, Tremaine was drafted by the Steelers, and I got
Wasn't Brett Favre a first-round pick for Atlanta?
Maybe it might have been a second.
Hold on. I'm looking at art.
Yep, Brett Favre, second or third-round pick. Yep.
Oh.
Complete.
Fourth,
33rd pick in the 91 draft. Yeah, well.
Just outside the first.
Fourth or fifth round pick.
Seriously, Gorlami, why did you have to be at the draft this weekend?
Not Aaron Jones.
Nope.
Jordy Nelson.
Penn State legend. Penn State legend. Ah,
Sean
What was his
Clifford?
name? Sean Clifford.
Has he appeared in a game?
Penn State legend
God,
Sean
I guess
Clifford.
so.
Let's go. Nope, not in the
William
fridge.
Perry?
Not in the
No.
fridge. Maybe oh, who was the quarterback that was literally blind in one eye? He wore the Rue headband with Walter Payton. It's not Jim McMahon, is it? Yeah, it is.
Oh, dude. Dearly departed Steve McMichael.
Oh, I thought he was a first round pick.
I think no, I'm pretty sure it was a second.
Michael. So put an M after the C.
McMichael.
There we go. Steve McMichael. Okay. Then a late Bears pick and then 2 Vikings. One in the second or third and one in the fourth or fifth. Kyle Rudolph?
Was Jimmy Graham okay, cool. Was Jimmy Graham a 4th round pick or later?
Nope.
No? Okay.
DeAndre Swift wasn't 4th or 5th round. Or was he?
I don't know.
No idea.
He was 2nd round. DeAndre Swift was 2nd round.
Oh, he would go. Cedric Tillman is a Pat Tillman. No, not Pat Tillman. Charles Tillman?
Charles Tillman, yeah.
Okay.
Not Cedric, Charles.
For some reason that wasn't the first Tillman in my mind went to.
Actually, I want to see what the Aaron Jones. Okay, I got the Vikings a 5th round pick. Aaron Jones.
Didn't we already try Aaron Jones or something?
No. Yep.
Aaron Jones.
All right.
He was a 5th round pick.
Okay, and now we just need a 4th or 5th round pick that is a Bear or was a Bear at some point. I'm trying to think of like solidly decent guys that have played for the Bears.
Hold on. I want to see something. Draft. Damn it, he was 3rd round. Damn it. I was about to say Nick Foles.
Well, I got one. I've got one.
Nick
I've got
Foles,
one.
But he was 3rd round.
Eddie Jackson.
Oh.
Eddie Jackson. Some popular picks: Troy Taylor, Cole Kmet, Dalvin Cook down here on the right, Kirk Cousins, Justin Jefferson, Aaron Rodgers, Devontae Adams, Aaron Jones. Caleb Williams is a popular one there. A pretty fun one. It wasn't too bad.
Pick is in for the Packers, so...
Oh, pick is in for the Packers. Oh, boy.
We might be able to hear either... So the pick is in for the Packers, so probably the next couple of minutes we'll be hearing...
Pick is in for the Packers.
Mrs. Lob City, or you screaming happy. We'll be hearing Gorlami screaming all the way from Green Bay.
Or us laughing.
Probably all three.
The pick is in. They haven't announced it yet. They're getting close.
$5 says we fuck it up.
$5. Oof. I'm about to make $5.
$10.
That's on,
$10.
It's recorded.
$10.
It is recorded.
$10.
Yeah,
it is.
You're on record.
Do we have 15? 15.
Wait, 15.
Dollar bid.
Do I have 20? Do I have 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50?
All right, he's going to the podium.
You're going to put them all out
He's
here.
going to the podium.
Oh, come on, Packers. Just give it to us.
Announce the fucking pick.
They drag this thing out, man.
I know.
Who the Chargers get?
The Chargers got Omarion Hampton, a running back into the University of North Carolina. They did not take Will Johnson. Will Johnson has not been picked yet. And he was expected to be like a top 10 pick. He also didn't play a lot of the year just to save his draft stock. And
they have Mark Murphy on stage with him.
Will Johnson? Corner.
Oh.
I think, yeah, one of the things you do need is corner, but they're expecting you to take a edge rusher out of the University of Marshall. Mike Green, University of Marshall edge rusher, or Luther Burden III, a wide receiver out of Missouri, or Josh Simmons, offensive tackle from Ohio State. I don't
Mark
think
Murphy himself announced on the pick. Okay.
Yeah, I don't think taking Will Johnson would be a bad thing for them, but they're also edge rusher has been a big problem, and Lucas Van Ness it looks like he's not filling that role.
Waste of
Not at all. If they take a wide receiver though, Gorlami might be happy.
Yeah, Luther Burden III from Missouri is still on the board. With some of his
Matthew
games
Golden
against-
too.
It's past Maston's bedtime. Come on, NFL,
All right,
let's
all right.
go.
I do have
Stop drawing it
Exterminator
out.
to
Just
take
announce
care
the
of
pick,
some
Mark.
I got Exterminator coming out to take care of some carpenter bees and a wasp nest, probably wasp nest inside the. Or
Oh my
just
god!
on the
Okay,
shed.
get to the pick. Get to the pick. Mark, come on.
They're in Green Bay. They're going to be like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's doing the rah rah. How many Packers fans are out there tonight?
Like Clay Matthews up there, some like woman, sign my baby, hucks the child.
Oh no, Clay Matthew was pretty funny. He was
Okay, here we go,
like,
here we go.
very stuck.
Oh.
Wait, what?
Who?
They draft the wide receiver. Hold on.
They're doing it.
Matthew Golden.
I called it. They're gonna do it. First time in 23 years they have taken a wide receiver in the first round.
No. For the first time in 23
God damn.
years, the Packers have taken a wide receiver in the first round. You have picked Matthew Golden, wide receiver, University of Texas.
He's really fast. He's the guy who had the fastest 40 time in the combine.
Dude,
Yeah, he was the fastest player in the draft this year. So, I mean, the biggest thing is that a lot of people are thinking you'd go for the guy from Missouri because his physicals are better, but, I mean, he didn't show up against some of the SEC teams he should have showed up with. Huh?
JD Reed?
Not the first round.
Oh, not first round.
I think the last one that you drafted in the first round was Greg Jennings.
That's a good question. So Packers 2002 is the last time they took
receiver.
a wide receiver.
I'm actually looking it
Yeah.
up. Receiver picked in first round. Javon Walker.
Javon Walker. The last first round wide receiver was Javon Walker.
A Packer?
Yes. Do you even know who Javon Walker is?
No.
Yeah, he was drafted in 2002. You were...
Tom Grossi's happy. Tom Grossi's happy.
Tom Grossi was
I'm
mad
sure
that
he
they
is.
drafted Jordan Love. Like, I don't know.
Gorlami is happy. He doesn't have to black out now.
No, Tom Grossi wasn't happy when they drafted Jordan Love. He was
He
kinda
literally
like
said
under-
anyone but Jordan Love right
Everybody.
as they drafted him.
Yeah,
Closer
it was,
now, look
and
at
then there was the what was the 5 points when they picked Kadarius Toney? Like if they pick Kadarius Toney.
Oh
that's
my
something-
god.
Never mind.
No, I'm saying no. Gorlami's saying that Tom Grossi is happy.
Yeah.
That's why he said he's not angry.
Yes.
No, I'm saying that
Yes.
Tom Grossi being happy or
I'm
angry
sure
about
all
it
the
doesn't
Packers
mean
are
it's
happy.
good.
Did you hear the pop when Mark Murphy said, for the first time since 2002, we're taking a wide receiver?
Oh my gosh.
He spoiled it before making the pick.
Anyway, we're gonna go ahead and move over now to KDF News. God dang, who's this idiot? Oh shit.
Wait,
oh,
what's he doing there?
Shit.
This is that.
Oh damn it. I keep forgetting to
That's
edit this
new.
every time because we keep losing people week to week because schedules and shit. Alright. Anyway.
Yep. Hold on.
Oh.
I
No.
read about the UFL's page for injury. Because all the news this week has mostly just been like who's visiting what team before they draft them. For a lot of teams right now, that some of that news is like way out the window old. So let's see what else we've been missing. Sure.
Oh,
fantastic. It hasn't been updated yet. Yes, it hasn't been updated. Oh wait, here we go. No, wait, never mind. That's not old. Okay, we're gonna skip that for now. So
dragged your shit for so long.
unfortunately not. We're just gonna move on to So, signings that have been happening this week, going in order of teams. Falcons are signing former Chargers quarterback Easton Stick, meaning they have added on yet another backup quarterback that seems like a bit of a surplus option to sit alongside Kirk O'Chains. Lions, kind of quiet in free agency so far, but they are, this is probably the biggest move they've made. They have extending safety Kirby Joseph on a 4-year, $86 million deal at 21 and a half years per year. That makes him the highest paid safety in the league right now. So good for him. I feel like that's pretty well deserved. The Saints are picking up the 5th-year option for Chris Olave. They are not picking up the same for offensive tackle Trevor Penning. Giants are also picking up 5th-year option for Kayvon Thibodeau. Jets are exercising 5th-year options of Sauce Gardner, Garrett Wilson, and Jermaine Johnson.
Sense.
And the Eagles are running center Cam Jurgens on a 4-year, $68 million deal with $39.4 million guaranteed. I think that makes him not the highest, but at least the second highest paid center in the league right now.
The draft audio is bleeding through your mic.
Oh, sorry. Let me turn that low. The Steelers have re-signed running back Jalen Warren on a 1-year deal, giving him a restricted free agent into tender. And the Seahawks are signing former Giants quarterback Drew Lock. At second stint was with them in 2023. Speaking of the Seahawks, another one of their old friends is going to the Titans. Former wide receiver Tyler Lockett has signed a 1-year deal worth $4 million, up to $6 million in max value. And other than that, other signings we're keeping an eye on, there's still nothing new on the Aaron Rodgers front, but there are still deals that are still waiting to happen, including notably 49ers tight end George Kittle and Bills running back James Cook. I'm just going to pause real here because the Vikings pick is in.
Donovan Jackson.
Donovan Jackson, guard out of Ohio State.
I mean,
Interesting.
building trenches O-line to try and protect J.J. McCarthy, that's not a bad thing.
As much as they can, yeah. Especially considering his leg is going to need that protection going into this year. And on to miscellaneous news, I'm going to get some, there's only really 3 things, but I'm going to get to the heavier stuff out of the way because some of this is kind of big news considering who it is. First off, obviously, as we've alluded to and was discussed when the Bears made their pick, Hall of Fame defensive tackle Stephen McMichael has passed away at the age of 67 this week after a lengthy battle with ALS. He played 14 seasons in the league with the Bears, Patriots, and Packers before later going into wrestling, where he became part of the Four Horsemen stable alongside legends like Arn Anderson and Ric Flair, where he became a one-time WCW U.S. heavyweight champion. But this is a football podcast, so he ended his football career as a one-time Super Bowl champ with the 86 Bears, 2-time first team, second team All-Pro, and Pro Bowler. Had 849 tackles, 95 sacks, 17 fumble recoveries with 16 forced, 3 interceptions, and 3 safeties. So rest in peace to him. And it's not going to be getting much better for news because mainly because I just liked this guy from what I could see on TV. Hall of Fame tight end and ESPN personality Shannon Sharp is facing a $50 million lawsuit after accused of consent was not involved and violent threats towards an OnlyFans model he reportedly had an affair with. This comes around the same time that he was looking to sign a $100 million deal for his podcast channel. And it's also coming from the law office of one Tony Busby, who, if you've been follow like legal news at all, this is the same guy who's been representing SA victims in cases that included celebrities like Jay-Z, Diddy, and notably Browns quarterback Deshaun Watson. So apparently Stephen A. Smith has already had conversations with him. There's been audio leaks from something, but I think so. It sounds like this thing has some legs to it, which that's just if you're a Shannon Sharp fan. So that's gonna suck. And in lighter news, just to end this quick KDF news set work, this year's Hall of Fame game has been announced. It'll be held on July 31st in, of course, Canton, Ohio, and will be played between the Lions and the Chargers. That's all I got.
Thank you, Senor Kiduff. New York Giants just traded for Houston's pick.
What?
Yeah,
Oh wow.
Oh, what? Yo, whoa.
they're gonna
Yeah,
get
they
two
did.
first
Holy
rounder.
shit.
They're gonna get Abdul Carter and oh my goodness, is this Shador?
If they take Shadur here,
Is
that's
this
crazy.
Is this Shador? Shador.
Because they're going to be going into because if they do that, they're going into camp with Wilson. They're going into it with Jameis Winston. They're going in with Tommy DeVito, and now Shadur Sanders.
Man,
That's
can you
crazy.
imagine that? You're gonna get a sermon, you're gonna get baptized, and you're gonna have an immediate Italian dinner afterwards. Every practice. That's amazing.
Yeah, like after practice, you're gonna go across the river, and go grab some pastrami at Katz's. It's gonna be great.
Yeah.
Get some gabagool.
Gabagool,
Hey.
best in the city. Real talk though, Katz is good. I had him when I was there a few years back.
All right, so we'll start with the UFL here.
Anyway.
This first game was a bit of a doozy here, but again, Memphis is just oh yeah, not great. Not great at all. The final score was 9-27 in favor of the Michigan Panthers. The home team got the win from Detroit, Michigan. Let's go ahead and break down the stats here. We'll start with the Showboats. EJ Perry, 8 for 16 for 74 yards. No touchdowns, 1 pick, a 50% completion percentage, and a 37 rating. Troy Williams went 4 for 8, another 50% completion percentage, and also a 56.3 rating. Both quarterbacks did not play great. Running the ball, EJ Perry, the quarterback, who is not known as a scrambler, was their lead rusher, 9 for 30. And their main running back, Dedrick Prince, 7 attempts, 24 yards and a touchdown, and Jacoby Kadobi, 7 for 10. Receiving, Kikwame lasted a second, 3 for 33. Jonathan Adams, 2 for 21. Chris Pierce Jr., 2 for 20. Isaiah Henny, 1 for 5. We'll move over to the Panthers. Bryce Perkins, 15 for 22. For 200 yards, for 2 touchdowns, no picks, a 68.2 completion percentage, a 127.1 rating. Really good numbers. He's been doing a really good job in the UFL so far. This was a great game from him. This was against the Browns of the UFL. So
almost halfway Bryce Perkins MVP for UFL right now? Or
a little early to tell.
I know, but it's
because of how well the
but
DC defenders have been playing. I think Tamu is another guy that you could be looking at here.
Oh yeah.
So we'll have to see how it further develops, but I do like Perkins. I definitely think he's in the running. He's definitely looked very, very, very good. We'll move on to the rushing attempts for the Michigan Panthers. Nate McCray, 11 for 16, a touchdown. Toa, that's Toa, last name Taua. Toa, I think. 10 for 53 and a touchdown. Bryce Perkins, 7 for 45. 169 total rushing yards and 2 touchdowns on the ground. Receiving, Jalen Moore, 3 for 39, a touchdown. Sosi Marner, 1 for 38. Jalen Windmeyer, 3 for 37, a touchdown. Cole Hikatuni, 2 for 34. Mike Turner, 3 for 34. Jaden Searden, 2 for 13. Again, this is a matchup of 2 different teams that are on very different spectrums. Michigan has managed to turn it around from being I would say a more mediocre team for the long-standing time they were in the XFL and now they obviously the UFL, to now being what seems like a decent competitor. I mean, they're 3-1 right now. They're playing very well. I mean, again, they blew this team out 9-27, the final score. They dominated both in the passing and run game. This was probably the best game of Bryce Perkins thus far. Was doing very well, and their defense did a very good job in shutting down this abysmal Memphis offense. And Perkins just looks like a playmaker. This guy can move, he can get out of the pocket, he can scramble. He's very elusive. There's, again, a 2-point conversion that I'll go on about that he did week 1 where this man literally, drove through 18 different people to get to a touchdown, it seemed like.
They did not just take Jackson Dart.
This is pretty on the nose, but bullseye. Jackson Dart. Oh my gosh. Shador Sanders.
I just saw.
Unretire. Unretire the jersey. Unretire the jersey. Unretire the jersey. Someone can wear number 2 now. Wow.
Shador, my guy.
My God.
Wow.
Yeah. Pete Prisco.
Fucking wow.
Oh, jeez.
They're comparing him to Jalen Hurts.
Traded up for him too. Oh You could have gotten Jackson at your round pick. What are you doing?
Dart is very up and down, but again, his last name's very fitting. The guy has a great arm. He's
And
very
he's a Star Wars
accurate.
nerd.
He is? I didn't know that.
Yeah,
but
that's immediately the thing that came up. Oh, that's why he did the fucking eyeliner, eye black, like that, like this. Oh, that's bruh.
anyway, Michigan Panthers, Memphis Showboats. On the other side for Memphis, something's got to stick. Somebody has to play quarterback. E.J. Perry and Troy Williams both were abysmal this game. Again, amazing play here by Perkins, staying in bounds, lowering the shoulder at times, throwing a stiff arm out. Knows how to win too. Played in the Sean McVay system. Was on a Super Bowl roster. Obviously didn't play a ton, but at the same time, it's been coached very well. Oh my God! Oh, Boog just got dribbled.
I will admit he did play well when he was at UVA, even when UVA sucked.
Oh my God! And he just got dribbled. Hey, Duff, we got a dribble alert. We got a basketball player. Look at 28 here.
This guy, see.
Look at 28. Also, holy shit, 72 is huge. Yes. Atlanta Falcons have traded to the 26th pick from the Rams. So the Rams are out of the first round.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Sean McVay said,
Again?
fuck this shit. Memphis, something has to stick. And it can't be you sticking to the bottom of the rankings every year. So
I'm about to say they're losing. That's what's sticking.
I mean, hey, at this point, you might be able to go out and get Shedeur Sanders for a game.
Wait. If the Falcons take Shedeur Sanders, I'm gonna lose my fucking shit.
That'd be so funny. That'd be so funny.
It'll be hilarious.
Yeah, at Memphis at this point, I don't know what to say, and I think the best thing is not to say anything. So we're gonna move on. Next up, St. Louis and Arlington, two very talented teams clashing in a pretty good game in my opinion. Score was a little bit further than what it actually was. 15-30 the final score. Arlington kind of shocks the St. Louis Battlehawks here. Arlington improves to 3-1. Battlehawks fall to 2-2. We'll start with
St. Louis's quarterback get hurt.
He did, yes, which was rough.
Yeah.
So we'll start with the Battlehawks. Manny Watkins, right there, number 5, only passed twice. Went 0 for 2, and then in came TCU legend. Oh, that did not look good there. Yeah, that's the injury right there. Non-contact, falling straight down, fumble, returned for a touchdown, I believe, here.
I'm actually getting some news of it. So Wilkins on the IR. So the Battlehawks are bringing back former XFL Roughnecks quarterback Brandon Silvers.
Oh, that yeah.
A little bit of an update there. Oh. God.
Oh.
That didn't look great.
Oh no, we're gonna slow mo that shit. What the fuck?
I'm trying to see. I'm trying to look. Hold on.
Okay, so he goes for a high snap. Oh.
But what was the injury? Was it ankle or knee?
It was
knee.
ankle. It looked like ankle.
It looked like some.
Watch his right leg. Watch his right leg. I'm thinking it's Achilles. Watch his right Achilles.
You do that. The Falcons are picking now.
Yeah. Did you see that jerk right there?
Yep.
Oh,
his
no dipping on edge.
His toes were on the ground, and all of a sudden his heel hit the ground, and his knee stayed in the same spot. I think his Achilles is gone. Oh, man, that sucks.
Double dipped on the edge rusher. James Pierce Jr. out of Tennessee.
Fuck you, Falcons.
Another edge rusher.
That sucks.
Yeah, that is very rough.
Sucks for the injury, but
sucks if you're Masson right now who wanted James Pierce Jr. apparently.
And also because Wilkins wasn't touched when he went to the ground and immediately put the ball down because he was grabbing his leg.
He hadn't even made it past the line of scrimmage.
But he wasn't touched. He wasn't touched. So when he fell down, he put the ball down next to him and to hold his knee or leg.
Oh, you talked about that.
And
that's still a live
ball.
Then. Yeah,
it's a live ball, which also just sucks.
That's just rough.
Yeah,
that's just rough.
TCU legend Max Duggan had to come in, went 8 for 17 for 78 yards, no touchdowns, 2 picks, a 47% completion percentage. On the ground, Jacob Saylor's 20 attempts, 61 yards. Max Duggan, 10 attempts, 42 yards. And Blake Jackson, 1 for 18. 122 rushing yards on 37 attempts, about a 3.3 average. Not bad, but they couldn't really get a ton of it going. I definitely know that injury really kind of screwed, I feel like, with the team a little bit because Duggan has been, or not Duggan, Wilkins has been a great leader for this team and has done an amazing job at the quarterback position, especially filling in the hole that AJ McCarron had left for the past 2 years when he was a phenomenal quarterback, as we've seen. Receiving for the Battlehawks, Frank Darby, 2 for 26, Denzel Mims, 1 for 17, Jacob Saylor's 1 for 16, and Ja'Cour Pearson, 1 for 10. To the Renegades, Luis Perez, 17 for 25 for 149, 1 touchdown, 1 pick, a 68% completion percentage, and an 80.3 rating. A good day from him, not the best, but also not the worst we've seen. Continues. I feel like Perez has taken, as long as I've covered the UFL, has taken the most amount of steps, and I've seen the most growth from a quarterback in the UFL from him. I feel like when he first started out, it was like, ugh, this is bad. And now it's like, he's like
at least
really settling in. I would say more than serviceable. I would say he, his NFL equivalent, in my opinion, as far as his like play, I feel like it kind of is a little bit more consistent version. I would say Joe Flacco, honestly, because Joe Flacco has some bad games, but they're never like Kirk Cousins bad games.
Elite quarterback Joe Flacco?
Exactly. And then Joe Flacco has some really good games, and they're sometimes as good as Kirk Cousins good games, but like Joe Flacco's floor isn't as low as Kirk's is, because we've seen Kirk's floor sometimes, and man, I didn't know there were basements that deep in Atlanta. But
look at the second half of this past season.
Yeah. But again, Luis Perez has had some up and downs, but he had some great games.
Like that, I see what you mean.
He's getting a lot more consistent. Also has an older quarterback now, I think, so it's kind of the old man Joe Flacco comments. Yeah. For the Arlington Renegades rushing, Dede Hunter 8 for 32 and a touchdown, and Javonte Payton 1 for 24. They only had 73 rushing yards and 22 attempts, another 3.3 average for them. They had 1 touchdown on the ground as well from Dede. And then receiving, big tight end Saul Cannella 3 for 35, Seth Green 1 for 24, Tyler Vaughn 3 for 22, Kalen Ballage 3 for 22, Dede Hunter 2 for 17, and Isaiah Weinstead 2 for 14. Definitely a little bit rough, obviously, for the Battlehawks having to deal with your leading quarterback and a guy who is kind of stuck as being. It's kind of hard to say in the. Oh my God, Max Duggan. Oh.
Yeah.
What is it? What is it with TCU quarterbacks underthrowing wide open wide receivers? Andy Dalton. Anyway. Where was that going? Yeah, getting derailed and having a. I don't know if you can say franchise guy in the UFL, but what seems like to be a lock-in starter in the UFL and Manny Wilkins at your quarterback position, and then have to put Max Duggan in, who is a guy that's very athletic, but I still feel like is, even at this level, sometimes struggles with decision-making and accurate throws, but is also a great competitor, a tough guy, and a very, very athletic guy. So there's still some upside. It's not like Max Duggan is, Easton Stick here. We're not saying that. We're definitely saying, though, that there's a lot of room to improve, and there's going to need to be some improvement because that injury to Manny Wilkins did not look good. There were some flashbacks of Rodgers, 7 minutes in heaven right there.
Wasn't even
2 years ago.
Yeah,
also like this right here.
No, let's not go back.
You can't. Let's go back a little bit further just for the hike of the ball. So. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I don't think they call that a fumble for a touchdown, but he's definitely down that short. So so much time to get rid of the ball or just to run. There were some open running lanes there, and he is fast and also tough. He can truck some people. He's got some Tim Tebow. There's some Tim Tebow aspects right there.
What the fuck was that? What the fuck was that with the?
Yeah. It's a symbol sometimes wide receivers use for throw it up. I'm going to head top him, grab the ball off the top of his head, moss him, Yeah, he just got fleeced there. That was bad. Oh my God. Yeah, like the pocket it's just he's got a lot to learn. He still could. I'm not writing Max Duggan off here. He's still a very talented guy, but this was not great. And this was also, it's hard as a quarterback to be ready the second, your top guy goes down and you weren't expecting to come in there and get your ass beat and to, play football as the starting quarterback because, you were, I'm the second string, I'll be in for a play or two or something like that. No, you got to be on deck and be ready. So tough there. For the Renegades, Luis Perez, again, as I've said, it looks better and better. I didn't like their balance. Their run game did not seem great. Only 73 rushing yards to 136 passing, but again, I don't think they had just a ton of offense in general, just because of advantageous defensive positions due to the due to the St. Louis Battlehawks offense just making mistakes and new quarterback and a lot of a lot of problems. But yeah, good win by the Renegades. Battlehawks. This does not look good. There are some red flags going up, so hopefully the ship can be righted around. All right.
Birmingham and Houston.
Birmingham and
This game happened.
Houston. The final score in this was 23-16. A lot closer than I think a lot of people could have expected. But again, I still feel like Birmingham has had a lot more problems than usual compared to their other seasons. Also, what
Malachi starts defense back out of Georgia to the Ravens.
Oh my goodness, more defense for them. Jeez.
I feel like they did go for a secondary pick almost every other draft.
They have some good ones too. They still have Marlon Humphrey.
Yeah, they're like
I still
they
can't
get
get
some
them to a
good
Super Bowl.
picks.
Yeah,
I think that's coaching.
Part of it's coaching. Part defense not being able to stop everything that comes their way.
Man, your bandwidth is just fighting. Oh
Yeah.
God, holy moly, Matt
I don't know what
Corral.
happened. Mine. Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, that is a. If I saw that
trying
hit,
to do the alligator roll.
No, watch this. Matt Corral runs out and then starts to slide and then gets hit in the face, and then you have a kill shot coming in here, and then shoves him off.
Yeah.
Matt Corral is like, you know what? Whatever. Tries to step over him, grabs his leg, and then the linemen say that you're done.
Oh.
That's like hitting a goalie in hockey.
Yeah.
You don't do that. Yeah, you're yep, and there goes his helmet, and yep, there yeah.
It's like it's giving the goalie an ice shower.
Yeah. So starts the slide, gets hit there. That's fine.
Oh.
Is not 28.
Like I don't like. Yeah, that's not there, and I don't know why he continues the attack afterwards. Like the play is over. Was because the ball came out? Oh no. Yeah. I don't get what that is.
It's because you hit him when he's sliding, and he's going to be mad at you for doing that. So he's going to pop you a little bit here. So the thicker kicker, Livingston. So yeah, we'll start with the Birmingham Stallions. Matt Corral, 14 for 25 passing for 195, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick, a 56% completion percentage. Excuse me. For a 91.3 rating. Then Matt Corral was also the lead rusher, 10 for 52, still showing that those legs can move. CJ Marble, 11 for 47, and Larry Roundtree, the third, 7 for 28. Receiving, Deion Kane, 3 for 69 and a touchdown. Davon Davis, 2 for 62 and a touchdown. Jalen Camp, 2 for 47. Jordan Thomas, 2 for 23. And Jay Sternberger, 1 for 15. For the Roughnecks, their passing department, Jalen McClendon, 22 for 31 for 236, no touchdowns, 1 pick, a 71% completion percentage, and a 79.5 rating. Pretty good day for him. He was also the lead rusher, 5 for 17 for 1 touchdown. Secondary White, 11 for 16 and a touchdown. Lorenzo Lingard, 3 for 14, and Lawrence Keys, the third, 2 for 11. 64 rush yards in total. Matt Corral was only 12 yards behind that himself as a quarterback. So the rushing department for Houston was not prioritized very high. There was only 22 attempts. For 64 yards. Not
Birmingham?
great. No, that was for Houston. Matt Corral was on
Oh,
Birmingham. I'm saying Matt Corral himself almost had more rush yards than the entire Houston offense, which is not great.
Okay, sorry.
You're good. You're
I was
good.
thinking something else.
Then receiving for the Houston Roughnecks, Justin Hall, 6 for 58, TJ Vandersurf, 1 for 46, Kiki Chisholm, 4 for 35, Marcus Sims, 1 for 29, Secondary White, 3 for 26, Lawrence Keys, the third, 3 for 21, Lorenzo Lingard, 3 for 21, Jorquavius Spivey, Key and Peel, 2 for 19, and Josh Peterson, 2 for 16.
Yeah.
Tingle McCringleberry.
It's with a Shyamalan Moby Dick.
All right.
The whole list of just made up ones. I'll just throw out next time.
Yeah. Great. Honestly, really good game. Houston still has, I think, some defensive struggles here and there, but their offense tends to look a little bit better each week. They were very pass heavy. They had 264 passing to 64 rushing. That is a 200-yard difference. But I mean, if it works, it works. But still, when the enemy team can come out there and they expect you to pass every time, they can start dropping linebackers for DBs, and then it gets harder and harder to get guys open. Oh my goodness. So yeah, this was starting quarterback Nolan Henderson. This is why he had so few pass attempts. He got...
That would explain why I just read something that Case Cookis was just signed.
Yeah, he got
Oh!
injured, if I remember right.
Didn't look like a terrible hit, but this guy got helicoptered like John Elway.
Oh!
Yeah.
Oh, that looks painful.
When I see the drone, it always fucks me up. I'm like, what the fuck is that? It's like, oh wait,
He
it's
is
the drone
face
with the
down
camera.
and hurt still.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe a rib issue, maybe? They're going to give us a...
He is
replay
grabbing
of
his
this?
chest.
Maybe rib or probably stomach, around the stomach.
That's definitely not head. They wouldn't have sat him up that fast.
No.
Shoulder? He
Yeah,
got
he
under the
got-
shoulder pad.
Shoulder to like right under. That's enough for a rib, I'd say.
Rib or probably
Rib or shoulder, maybe arm.
Rib
Yeah.
side.
And no, that arm he immediately tucked that to his body.
Oh, that was
His right
and he-
arm.
yeah, he got hit on the arm and then
Yeah.
lands on the arm, so that
Yeah.
can't feel great.
Especially that spiraling, twisting action is never good when you're landing on something. So not good for Houston there. Yeah, you can see him walking off there and not really moving that right arm much. So rough, very rough there. But again, still a good performance. Jalen McClinton came in 22 for 31, 71% completion percentage on 236 yards passing, only throwing one pick with no touchdowns. As a backup in the UFL, pretty damn good in my opinion. Pretty damn good.
Not bad at all. No.
No, not at all. But yeah, again, I think Birmingham's run game is still not as good as it used to be. This was much better today. However, the majority of that came from Matt Corral. So it's definitely a little different than it was last year. They had a lot more traditional run offense, and they prioritized it a lot more, and it seems like they're not. From their main rushers, so non-quarterback rushes, 10 of their 29 rushes were from Matt Corral. So...
Lions
nearly a
pick is in.
third.
Tyleek Williams out of Ohio State, defensive tackle.
So yeah, nearly a third of their rushes, actually over a third of their rushes, were from the quarterback, which obviously some of those were designed, some of them weren't. Matt Corral is an athletic guy, but again, this is not the Stallions we saw run the ball down your throat last year. They had a lot of read option setup, which is interesting to see in like professional football, but it can definitely work. So their offense still has some kinks to work out, but again, I think their defense is still very solid. Not better than DC's, I would say, but still very good. And then for Houston, just a lot of things they got to overcome, and now it's only going to get worse with a quarterback injury. They're now 1-3. Still feels like they're better than that because they're just one loss away from being tied with the Memphis Poop Decks.
Showboats.
Yeah. So there's no way he wasn't touched. Also, just call him 22. What the? Put a hand on him.
Yeah.
All right. But yeah, good game and way to step up. Shout out to Jalen McClendon, backup UFL quarterback, stepping up and putting on a show. Led the team in rushing, scored a rushing touchdown, 71% completion, only through one pick. Good job. Hats off to you. If there was a Mamba MVP of the week, I feel like you'd get it maybe. Good job. Thank you for the clapping sound effect. And the last game of the week. Maybe Maston is right. Maybe Wade Phillips was the problem.
I'm not gonna. Okay, as I said this
Crazy
before,
to
Wade
say.
Phillips is not a bad coach. It's just when he has a good year, he has a bad year. Like it's literally right after a good year, he has a bad year.
It's kind of like the Niners, and
it's weird.
every few years, it's just
There
like
seems to be a trend.
You just can't win.
Yeah, it just didn't. Well, it's the Niners isn't bad. The bad years because of injuries. Wade Phillips is just some people just don't. It just didn't like plays
Click.
or just the players just didn't click. Yeah.
Yeah.
His
49ers,
style of coaching
it's
doesn't click
injuries.
with what some players are used to.
This
Maybe
was a game.
He's not like. Oh, sorry. I was about
Go
to say
ahead.
he's not like a dictator like coach or anything like that. He's just some people just decide not to listen to him at times. I don't know.
Yeah.
He's a great
right.
defensive coordinator.
Oh,
I will
absolutely.
admit that.
Absolutely. 24-18 the final score. The Brahmas go into DC and get the win. They were 0-3 entering the game and now are 1-3. DC takes their first loss of the season. No more undefeated teams. San Antonio knocks them off. So But the Brahmas starting off with them in their passing game. Kellen Mond, 14 for 20 for 121, one touchdown, no picks, a 70% completion percentage and a 102.3 rating. Great day from him. On the ground, Anthony McFarland, 14 for 55, and Jyshawn Corbin, 11 for 24, as well as Aiden Robbins, 4 for 13, and 2 touchdowns. He was our power back in the short yard situations. For the receiving department, Jacob Harris, 3 for 35, Greg Ward, 3 for 20, and a touchdown. Also, one of our scores was on this beautiful return from number 87 here. That is... that wasn't this
that
one.
play.
It was later in the game.
I would say once San Antonio kept it close, in the second half, going to the fourth quarter, it kind of had that feeling San Antonio was going to win it.
Yeah. So yeah, Jacob Harris, 3 for 35, Greg Ward, 3 for 20 receiving and a touchdown, Jonte Kirkland, 2 for 18, Anthony McFarland, 3 for 14, and Joshua Corbin, 1 for 13. As well as Marcus Stevenson, 1 for 13. For DC, Jordan Ta'amu, 19 for 31 passing for 299 yards and a touchdown. No picks, a 61% completion percentage and a 104.1 rating. Great day for him. He was also the lead rusher, 10 attempts, 74 yards and a touchdown. Again, one of the reasons why I said that, when you were talking about MVP, I feel like Ta'amu's stats have taken a massive jump from last year, especially this game, in a loss even. Almost 300 yards of passing and 74 rushing, a touchdown in each category.
I kind of forgot that Ta'amu
also
just blew up that game.
Julian Edelman, is that you?
No, I forgot that Ta'amu actually went explosive in that game. I do agree with you. Ta'amu's up there with MVP. I can see him or Perkins.
Yeah. Other rushers, really only one. Abram Smith, 13 attempts for 40 yards. Receiving, Braylon Sanders, 3 for 87. Chris Rowland, 7 for 61. Corden Powell, 3 for 52. Bradley Moore McKinney, 1 for 39 and a touchdown. Javion Antonio, 1 for 25. And Jaden Mickens, 2 for 21, as well as Abram Smith, 2 for 14. There were some very advantageous moments that the Brahmas took advantage of. There's the word. They obviously had that punt return. They also had a fumble recovery in enemy territory. And then their defense was able to bend but not break. They still had up 18 points. However, our offense was able to take advantage of the positioning we were given and really be able to kind of dial in and focus on kind of just winning each possession, winning each battle, and keep our foot on the throttle. I mean, we're up 12-0 right here at the start of the second, so we're doing good thus far. And the defense is still making it very tough for this DC offense to go to move the ball with any efficiency. Even though Ta'amu had a great day, it still comes in a loss just because of the successfulness of our defense to do a lot of things. As I say that, butt booty naked, barn door wide open. But again, a great battle between both teams. I like the Brahmas defense really showing up and showing out, and then the offense kind of sticking to its guns, focusing a little bit more on the run than usual, and really taking advantage of the issues that the DC defenders had with ball security. And as far as kicking goes, we did not do any kicking because Destroying was out in this game with an injury. So all of our scores were without kicks. We didn't kick a single time. 2 scores in the first, 1 in the second, 1 in the third.
Commanders went O-line. Josh Conley Jr. out of Oregon.
Man.
Not a sexy pick, but it's a good pick.
They did. Yeah. I think they did need an upgrade on the O-line, so.
Yeah.
As the DC defenders, go ahead. Go ahead, Masson.
No, I was about to say with Washington, it's O-line, D-line's not the sexiest picks, but having something to protect Jane Daniels and probably help improve the run game.
Yeah, possibly.
Yeah.
So I think with DC, it wasn't definitely them beating themselves, but definitely helped because the fumble in your own territory was bad. The special teams mishap of letting a return come back was bad. That's already put you down 2 scores. You're already down 12-0 because, again, we couldn't do 2 points to save our lives. But you're already down 12-0. So that's rough there. And then your defense has a massive hole to climb. And we have Brahmas have a very talented coaching department in this. These were two interim coaches going at it in this game, which was very interesting. But at the same time, being able to really mix in and run and pass worked great. I loved how Aiden Robbins there played. Kind of our power back, it seems like, in short yard situations, really taking it to him. So, great game between the two teams. But it came down to, I think, who made the least amount of mistakes, and that was the Brahmas on this day.
Yeah.
Yep. So, sad beer snake.
The moment where the defenders couldn't get out of their own way and came back to bite them.
The beer snake was, oh
Just
fuck, it's
how
all
it goes
goodness.
That makes me a sad beer snake.
All right. So I think before we do our I think we can do our predictions. Then we can go and talk about the draft because there's still 3 picks, and that might take 3 hours because Roger Goodell.
Well, who knows? There's only 3 picks left, and the Bills pick is just about in. I think.
Watch the Bills
Oh,
trade
that's on
the
the
Kansas
clock,
City
actually.
Chiefs again. Give them another
If they, I will laugh.
All right,
But,
so
so even a wide receiver in range for like grab any.
All right, so Maston, we record the scores as we were starting, so just tell us the positioning of everyone, please.
So last place is Gulami, 12-6, 3-2 this week. Then it's Mamba, 13-5, 2-3 this week.
I jumped 2
Then
spots.
it's me. And then it's me at third at 14-6, 2-2. Then it's Lob, 15-4, 6-0. K-Duff, 19-2, 2-2.
6-0. That means I predicted 2
No longer
games
undefeated, but
most
still in the
accurate.
lead.
Yes.
Wow.
Yep. Bill's pick is in.
Okay.
Righty. Sorry, 1 second. My chicken decided to have a moment. All right. Let's start with the Showboats and Birmingham Stallions. Stallions by 10. I don't need to cover this at all.
Okay. All right. Birmingham by 4.
Yeah, Birmingham by 9.
All right, then we'll go Michigan and St. Louis. This will be a bit tougher one. Yeah, it is tougher, but at the same time, we got to think. Manny Wilkins is not going to be playing for the Battlehawks. I feel like on IR already. They are sending a new quarterback, so it's either going to be Max Duggan or who did they sign, Kidduff?
Brandon Silver is formerly of Roughnecks. Formerly of the Roughnecks when they were still an XFL team.
Yeah. I think I'll take the Panthers, honestly. I'll take the Panthers by 5. I think they'll get the win, even if it is in the Battlehawks' hometown.
Michigan by 4.
Yeah, I'm not counting the Battlehawks out just yet because of the Wilkins injury, but give me the Panthers by 6.
All right. We will move on to the DC Defenders and Arlington Renegades from Arlington, Texas. As much as I like the Arlington Renegades and the improvements that they continue to make, this DC Defenders team is coming off a bad loss where they realize what they did, I think, was shoot themselves in the foot too many times, and I think they're going to improve on that. And I don't trust this Arlington offense as much as I trust the DC defense, so I'll take the Defenders by 2 in this one.
DC by 4.
I give it to my Beer Snakes by 6.
All right. And last but certainly not least, on April 27th, 3 p.m. in San Antonio, Texas, in the Alamo Dome. I believe this is the reveal of the San Antonio Brahmas' new mascot. So, as always, Roughnecks, Oral Sex, or Suplex. Brahmas by 5.
San Antonio by 4.
I'm sorry, I was stunlocked by what he said.
Yeah.
Give me the Roughnecks by 3.
Alrighty. Those are our predictions for next week. Now we will go ahead and recap the draft. The pick is in,
Bills.
apparently.
We're doing
Bills.
it as the Bills pick is in. They're at the podium right now. They're having another Make-A-Wish recipient do the pick. And he's hyping the crowd up a little. This might take a moment.
Yep.
Wait for it, and then we'll start going down the list before the last 2 teams pick.
Yep.
All right. Oh, it just updated for me on NFL. Maxwell Harrison, cornerback out of Kentucky.
Over Will Johnson.
This guy was like,
Ooh.
yeah. From what I've heard, there's apparently a knee injury going on that Will Johnson had in the past that's been apparently scaring some people. Apparently, it cost him a couple games last year. I don't know if you can shed
He
any light.
played 4 games, I think, last year. That's it.
Yikes.
But again, his performance against USC was one of the reasons why
there was a trade. A trade just happened.
What happened? What happened?
Billy and Kansas City switched.
Oh, so you're on the clock.
Interesting.
Nice.
Okay. So we'll go ahead and recap each section. And honestly, we're not going to do just give me how you think the draft pick was. Was it Was it Or was it Cam Ward, number 1 overall pick to the Titans, now is their quarterback. I'm also going to hit it with this.
It's a meh one.
It was just obvious.
We knew they were going to go for it was an obvious one. Yeah, that's it. It was just going to be an obvious one, but at the same time, we still don't know if he's going to be like this second coming of Mahomes that Mel Kiper and other draft pundits say he's going to be.
Yeah.
So,
I think Mike Helper likes
another damning statement. Another damning statement. Brandon Perna of That's Good Sports. He literally commented like on one of his videos before the draft that in last year's draft, Cam Ward would probably be like 8th or 9th best quarterback on the board.
Yeah.
So
I don't. Yeah.
It doesn't tell you like how kind of rough this draft is for QB outside of Ward and Sanders. Outside of Ward and Dart at this point.
Yeah, but I mean, like Cam Ward did really good in this past season.
He did.
This might just be like
the Miami offense this year was great.
Might just be like a old coach talking in me, but like the nonchalantness that I feel like he plays with almost seems to the point of which he doesn't care on the field, which I know obviously can't be the case, but at the same time, it's just so weird to see someone in the pocket just like you're just like, oh, okay.
I don't know. I'll just wait to see what happens when the season starts.
Honestly, it just felt like Jay Cutler took like Xanax.
Jay Cutler just did not give a fuck.
I know.
Jay Cutler actually didn't give a fuck about anything.
That's just why. That's what Cam Ward looks like he's doing every time he plays, which is the weirdest thing. But anyway, maybe it's just he's got that smoothness to him. You know, maybe he's like the Paul George of the NFL. Anyway, next pick, Travis Hunter, going second, a trade for the Jaguars to move up. I mean, this guy
we did have him going second, just not to Jackson. That was a surprise trade there.
Yeah,
I like this pick. I mean, he's either going to be a very good corner or very good. Wait, what the fuck happened?
Pick is in.
Pick is in. I thought the Browns did something crazy. I'm like, what the fuck?
So
Eagles traded. They picked next to the first round.
Okay, Eagles traded the 32nd pick to get 31st and a 5th round pick.
Okay, so
I actually have the details somewhere up here.
I like Travis Hunter for the
trade up was Steven traded the 2nd pick, a 4th, and a 6th for the 5th overall, and 1st, 2nd, and 4th round picks spread over this draft and next year.
No, I like Travis Hunter. I thought they were going to take Genty maybe because they don't really have a good running back room right now. But Travis Hunter is a solid athlete.
They take a running back every year.
Yeah, so I feel like Hunter could be really good for this team. He could definitely improve them. It depends on what side the ball is going to play. How is this new coach going to deal with Travis Hunter wanting to play both sides? Is he going to be able to do that? Who knows?
Well, Jacksonville has multiple holes on both sides of the ball. Also, the fact that they got a two-way potential player in the form of Travis Hunter here that can definitely fill those holes is great for them, to be honest with you. Good fit.
Also, Jacksonville did have a running back, but they decided to trade him a couple years ago for some reason because Urban Meyer was an idiot.
Yeah, Urban. I think. That's
Doug. Actually, no. Actually, it was the year after. Doug Pearson is the one that traded him. That's right.
Still, that's understating it. Anyway, moving on to the Giants. Abdul Carter, edge rusher out of Penn State University. I like it. Keon Thibodeau is still on the team as well, but there's questions now: is he going to stay or not? At the same time, if you have Abdul Carter and Keon Thibodeau for the foreseeable future, that's really good. Those are two elite
And
edge rushers, at
sexy
least right now.
Dexy.
And Dexter. Oh
Dexy,
my
Dexy.
goodness!
The
Oh,
Brian
don't-
Burns signed last year.
I don't want the Bengals
awful,
to play.
So this is
I
probably to
don't
remedy
want
that.
the Bengals. Oh my god, if the Bengals have to play the Giants in MetLife, oh my god, Joe Burrow's knees. Yeah, but good pick.
Yeah.
If Keon Thibodeau's staying, or if he's not, Abdul Carter is a good complement or replacement, possibly. I mean, obviously, it depends on how he turns out, but I like it. He's showed very good promise at Penn State, playing against some of the best offensive lines in football, like Michigan, Ohio State, now even with like Oregon. Like you're playing against some elite offensive tackles as an edge rusher in the Big Ten. Moving on now, Will Campbell, offensive tackle, LSU. Pete Prisco can suck it. Will Campbell looks amazing. I see him as a star guard. Yeah, I see him as a star guard. What are you smoking, Pete? No, that Will Campbell has the talent, the skill, the movement.
Too.
Like
Because it's not a sexy
like
pick.
people say, it never is a sexy pick when you go O-line this high when you've got guys like Ashton Jeanty and Mason Graham still on the board, but Will Campbell is like an O-line prospect from the looks of it that we haven't seen since like Anthony Munoz. Like that's how some people are putting
that is
other people I would say the people are saying like he's undersized, he's got T-Rex arms. Like I'm still seeing him shoving like edge rushers down like they're just blocking dummies.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of the concerns about him are overblown. He'll be good.
Also, getting an O-line to protect your QB is actually a good decision. Wait a minute, who just won the Super Bowl, and with what? Let's look at that O-line.
O-line, yeah. Moving on, Mason Graham selected 5th overall by the Browns.
Like
I didn't know if D-line was really their issue. It was kind of like a good pick for like a good available player, but like position-wise,
not the biggest issue they had. They could have gone with an offensive pick there, like GT. Hell, if they meddled enough, maybe surprised. Sanders. It's
also at the same time.
Nick Chubb with his injuries, not that. Oh, not.
Yeah, you had the chance for GT here. GT fell.
Right. Lob, you're the Michigan fan here. What kind of D linemen are the Browns getting out of this pick?
Mason Graham is a disruptor in the center. He's fast enough to be able to actually pressure the quarterback a lot, similar to Dexter Lawrence. I think the biggest issue with him is he does not have a lot of mass behind him. He's 6'3", 296, which is still very big. But at the same time, Pete Prisco, I think, takes it a little bit too far as like the size aspect of it. But it's definitely going to be somewhat of a challenge if he goes up against some 300-plus pound guard, where he has to be able to push even harder against that. But at the same time, he is an amazing run stopper. He can shed blocks very well. He's quick. He's fast, quick hands, very strong. I just think the biggest issue for him always has been is that he is slightly undersized, which is crazy at 6'3", almost 3 bills, but he's a little undersized for a defensive tackle at the NFL level. I think, who do they compare him to? Who's his comparison?
Trade details are in for the Chiefs.
Christian Wilkins.
Swap. They swapped 31st and 32nd, and the Chiefs get a 5th rounder. Wilkins, that's not a bad comparison.
Yep. Okay, Ashton Jeanty now going to the Raiders.
Before we do,
Jihad Campbell.
All right.
Jihad.
No, I keep saying I don't know why I keep saying Jihad.
I mean, it's the Boston in you.
Probably.
Yeah. Going back to Jeanty at 6.
They needed a running back.
Yeah, they lost Jacobs. I like it.
Best running back in the draft. Of course, he had to pick there.
Yeah, I think it's good. It's just, will he have the offensive line to block well enough for him? Because say what you will, but in the NFL,
I mean,
like you still need block.
I mean,
you could be as good a running back as
Miller, I think. So I feel like they could get it done with Jeanty's skill set. I feel like it also with plus Carroll loves his running backs. I mean, look at his history with them in Seattle for reference there. Beast Mode, all those guys he's used.
I also love that his comparison is Marshawn Lynch and his,
Yeah, which-
his coach is now Pete Carroll. That's we're at the
Yeah,
1
so
yard
we've got
line.
a second coming on our hands, essentially.
Now we'll go.
Pass played to Jacoby Myers.
We're going to move to the 7th pick. Ahmad Membu, offense tackle from Missouri. I like it. Decent. Yeah, I mean, it's just like, what are the Jets season was just so it's hard to describe like what they needed. It's the same with them and like the Niners. It's just like there's obviously positions they need. Yeah, it's like I don't know if one draft pick is going to be able to fix it for him because there's just like so many problems and you don't know if it's positional or front office or certain individuals or now one of them seems to be gone in Rodgers. So at least they're starting with a new slate, and getting more blocking for Fields could be great. It could also be somewhat, in my opinion, detrimental because I think sometimes Fields is able to create amazing plays when pressure comes in. And obviously, you never want pressure just to occur, but at the same time, like I don't know. I've seen Fields take plays where he was sitting in the pocket too long and force something, and there's another play where he gets rushed and he spins out of it, and then is able to do something amazing upfield. So we'll have to see how they handle it. New head coach, new staff, new quarterback.
Or help the run game, having Breece Hall actually be used?
If he's not hurt.
Possibly.
No, I thought he wasn't hurt. He was just not used because Aaron Rodgers was like, oh, you're a running back. I'm not going to do anything for you.
True, but he was hurt his rookie year
right.
and then also got hurt, banged up the last 2 years here and there. I don't think he played a full season either one, so it's been a little choppy for him. But next up, 8th overall, Tertoa McMillan, Arizona, 6'4", 219.
Yeah, it's a good pick in my eyes because of McMillan's like skill set. He can one hand balls like he's an outfielder in the MLB. I like the pick. I can understand why Prisco is kind of bullish on it because I could have seen them possibly going more of like an edge rusher or even defensive back kind of role there, especially after they took Liggett last year in the first round. So.
It seems like Leggett didn't turn out insane, but also McMillan's, like, if you just look at the height weight, 6'4", 219 at a wide receiver, whoa. Mm-hmm. That's a big target.
It is. I'm just saying I understand the grade. And I like the player, and I understand the grade that they're giving them because this might not have been the best fit but it's a good fit.
I kind of have to say this, like, is Bryce Young gonna be able to throw it to him if he's getting like pressured? Also, I kind of think they need it. Also, offensive line, like one. I don't know.
Yeah.
Speaking of offensive line, Kansas City Chiefs round out with Josh Simmons out of Ohio State.
So Shedeur Sanders is not being drafted in the first round. Neither is Will Johnson. Interesting.
He has completely fallen out of it. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, we'll move on. Kelvin Banks, offensive tackle from Texas. I think it's a solid pick. I'm like halfway between like thumb sideways and thumb up, just because like they're still in need of a quarterback. I feel like because I don't know how much longer Carr is going to be successful for them if he's even successful now.
Even if he plays this year, considering that shoulder injury.
There was like the possibility.
Rattler?
I don't think so.
I feel like this is why they didn't pick up Trevor Penning's 5th-year option because they wanted to go for this pick. Voice crack.
But also, Trevor Penning has also like had a lot of problems on the field with like penalties, avoidable penalties.
Yeah.
Also, it's like
going into the second day of the draft. I mean, they're gonna need. They can fix the quarterback thing there. So
it's like the only other quarterback besides Rattler is Taysom Hill.
I mean, if anybody can do it, Taysom can do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever the fuck Taysom was.
Moving on to the 10th overall pick, Colston Loveland. A little unexpected. I kind of expect the Bears to shore out their offensive line. They kind of needed one more position to really
take it back. There are 2 actual other quarterbacks on the Saints roster. One is Jake Haener, and the other is Ben DiNucci.
Ben DiNucci and Jake Haener. Wow, what a QB room.
Yeah.
So Colston Loveland, tight end out of Michigan. Solid. They still have Cole Kmet, so there's now going to be like a 2 tight end situation. But again, Colson
Mhm.
Loveland, as I've said constantly, he is a willing blocker. He's not the best, but I still feel like he is a modern tight end in so many ways that he is a phenomenal receiver. Sometimes it feels like he's just a receiver in a bigger body. So he's still willing to block. He's not going to
Probably
be the
right there.
absolute best at it, but he's great. I like it. I still thought they were going to go offensive line, but I think you got a
I
really
like
good playmaker.
I'm in the same boat, but I was thinking they were going to go like more defensive line, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But I like the player. Maybe not for this team, though. Maybe not for this team.
Yeah.
All right. Moving on,
Fran's
San Fran. Michael Williams, edge from Georgia. They need some extra, as I said, run help or pass rush help with Nick Bosa. So there you go.
They lost Sweat. They lost Sweat. No, Sweat. They lost Hargrave, and they lost another guy, free agency. So basically, that edge room or the defensive line room was thin.
Pete Prisco does talk on that. There was a severe drop in production from Williams from 2 years ago to last year in college football. So hopefully that's not a sign of a trend. But I still like the pick. You still needed an edge rusher. Good there. Now we go to the Cowboys at 12. They take Tyler Booker, inside the linebacker out of Bama, inside the lineman out of University of Alabama. He's good. I like him, but at the same time, that's a guard in the top half, and also on a team that, like, yes, they need to cover up for some Zach Martin and stuff like that, but also, like, there's some other positions that people were thinking that they might be able to take ahead and said they prioritized line, which I guess Dallas always likes to do, the Great Wall of Dallas. So, yeah, real rough.
It is.
He's a great player. It's just like it's not a bad player to pick. I just feel like it was kind of an odd order, but I guess someone else would have tried to get him. But again, I don't feel like guards are really desired as much as tackles in this modern day of football.
For the best on paper guard in the draft for a team that just wants to upgrade it, especially after losing Zach Martin, I get it. So I like the pick. It's one of many holes that their roster kind of does need to fix up. And I mean, as much as help that they can get as it going into what the hell a Schottenheimer team in Dallas is going to look like is probably more welcome if I'm a Dallas fan.
This is actually I'm not going to laugh at the Cowboys pick because it's not terrible, but not the great. It's a weird one.
Yeah.
I actually understand what they're trying to do. I just don't know if that was actually the correct one. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see that. For the next pick, though, we're going to have a moment of silence for Tua's protection, as the Dolphins went with a lineman, just with a D lineman, Kenneth Grant out of Michigan.
I mean, he is a athlete. He is 6'4", 331, and moves quickly. He could be a wrecking ball if he continues to perform well at each level of play. I watched Kenneth Grant a lot at Michigan, and some of the times he ran down running backs at his size is ridiculous. So this is an athletic specimen that they can have, and if they can capitalize on that, they can do a lot with this pick.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. I'm a thumbs up here.
Yeah, I like the player as well. I personally, I feel like the pick here should have been O-line to protect Tua because that is losing more and more. It seemed like every month, like we just lost. You just lost Teron Armstead into retirement, so there's a bit of a hole on that. Well, wait, was Armstead left tackle or right tackle? I'm blanking out here. Left tackle. So you're gonna need something to fix the blind side there.
I mean, they still have some obviously other rounds to pick it, but there won't be as much talent. Kenneth Grant, I don't think it's a bad pick. I still like it, but obviously there needs to be some offensive lineman drafted for Miami just to help Tua out. Moving on. Tyler Warren, tight end out of Penn State, going to the Colts. This is a versatile guy that has played running back, fullback, tight end, and even quarterback. So I guess if Anthony Richardson again tries to jump face first into a buzzsaw, you now have a guy that can play quarterback at the tight end position too. I do think Pete Prisco did kind of cook with this. He's a good football player, but is he great at anything? He's a good playmaker, but again, like, is he going to excel at one position, or is this guy going to end up being like a Taysom Hill kind of player?
What the fuck is a Taysom Hill?
Yeah. So we'll have to see how that develops. That's not something we can really go for, but I like the pick. He is a big tight end at 6'6", 256, is a great blocker, played at Penn State, Big Ten school. And I think, obviously, like, throwing him at the fullback, throwing him at tight end, getting a good blocker out of it, and still a very good receiving tight end as well through that. Great decision. I like it. At 16, Walter Nolan, defensive lineman and from Mississippi, is going to the Cardinals.
We skipped the Falcons.
Oh, we did see. Oh, I'm sorry. We said the Falcons. Yeah, Jalen Walker, linebacker at Georgia, going to the Falcons. I like it. The biggest issue with Walker is he had some injury concerns, so he was definitely projected to be a top 10 pick before the injuries, and now it's had him slide a little bit, and he fell to the Falcons. Good pick. Played at Georgia, now going to Atlanta. Kind of a hometown guy. That's a great thing, and he's a phenomenal player. I like it. Not much really else to say about the pick. It'll really bolster their defense.
That's not as much of a slide as other players have had this tonight.
Yeah, Shador Sanders and Will Johnson being the two of them. Will, I can kind of see because he only played like 4 or 5 games in this season I guess now last season for college football. But like Shador, ooh-wee.
I don't even know what happened there. But anyway,
I think some
Walter
of it's
Nolan,
like, I feel like some of the stuff with Shador could be kind of like the Tebow effect almost, of the fame and all the extra coverage you get if Tebow's on your team. I feel like the same thing's going to happen with Shador. All the extra coverage,
yeah, especially when
Sanders kid, this and that.
Exactly, primetime kid coming into the NFL. He's gonna be under a microscope just for the last name alone, not even just what team he plays for, how he plays for that team, how he gets developed. It's just the fact that he's Deion's kid. And I feel like just trying to think of like what that means outside of that is just what got teams like second guessing. Like, wait, are we just drafting this because he's Prime's son or because he's actually good?
Yeah. For the Cardinals, Walter Nolan, defensive lineman of Mississippi. I like it, kind of. It's kind of an eh. I feel like the Cardinals would also need some offensive line to help them out a little bit. Maybe another wide receiver pick, because Marvin Harrison Jr. did still need some time to develop, it seems like. But you're also going to pair this guy next to Calais Campbell, so that's a really good pick. I think there's really
and Dalvin Tomlinson. That will be
very dangerous defensive line. But also, are you going to play 3 down linemen and slide Calais out, maybe from D line to edge? That's a really big edge rusher there, but he's done it before, so there might be some playing times here. I'm getting like memories of Miles Murphy, who, like, again has played the same amount of time for the Bengals as like a quadruple amputee kicker. So, not been. I like the rotation. I feel like is gonna be the toughest thing there. 17, my Bengals, Shamar Stewart, edge rusher out of Texas A&M. We needed edge help.
Bit of a C ranking for that.
It got a C ranking because of like Pete Prisco's view of Stewart. He said he's a player that needs to learn how to play football, but there's talent. He's a very strong, very quick. 6'5", 267. Could be an amazing presence off the edge. Whether this is to replace Trey Anderson or to complement him, we will not know. But hopefully it's a compliment to complement him, because Trey Anderson hasn't obviously been traded yet. Hopefully he will not be traded. So hopefully,
it's the best case scenario to have them both on either side of the D line in Cincinnati.
Yes. Hopefully he can turn out a lot better than our last edge rusher pick, which was Miles Murphy, who again has not played seemingly at all. I'm with it. I kind of wanted Will Johnson. Some bias being a Michigan fan, but also I feel like our secondary needed a lot of help. But again, going into this season and possibly having 2 solid pass rushers and not just one could really free up a lot of things, because then you just can't double team Trey Hendrickson and just call it a day. So we'll see. Moving on now to the 18th pick, Gray Zabel to the Seahawks, an inside offensive lineman from North Dakota State. Another North Dakota State player drafted. These have been up and down. Some have been great, like Kobe Mock for the Buccaneers, and then others have ended up like Trey Lance with the San Francisco 49ers and then the Cowboys, and now I think he still might be in the Cowboys, but I don't know for how much longer.
I think he
So
still
it's-
is in the Cowboys right now.
It's always tough. Obviously, North Dakota State has a phenomenal program, and I think they would be Division One if it wasn't so hard to just get the logistics of having a team in the middle of fucking nowhere into Division One, and also the expense for it as well. But they produce some phenomenal talent. They are perennial champions, perennially competitive in Division Two. Or I think they're actually Division One FCS. Yeah, but in their division, they are perennially. It seems almost like hundreds of championships. Seems like they win one every year. So I don't know a lot about Zabel, but at the same time, North Dakota State's offensive line is always good, and so there are always good players on it. So it looks like Zabel was one of those, and performed well in the Senior Bowl.
Sounds like
so.
he's like a plug and play at any positions. So,
Yeah.
so whatever position the Seahawks want him for, that's your guy.
But yeah, offensive lineman, which Seahawks needed. I like the position. It's just with North Dakota State, I feel like sometimes it's just a coin flip. I feel like just because it's hard to compare them to other talent when like their biggest game all year I think was against Colorado, which even then Colorado got their butt whooped by Nebraska, who was in the Big Ten.
If he can be coached up, if you see that talent, just like him for that talent and coach him up at an NFL level. Like you never know. It's
entirely possible.
I think in the pit. Yeah, it's like you're thinking that he's like the 11 guys when he's just one. It's like you just have to worry about him for coaching.
Very true.
So it's like, why punish a great player just because everybody else sucked?
Right.
Like, it's one of those things. Like.
Yeah, how much can you do as one player on a team, especially as a lineman, where
like,
you don't get a lot of like glam?
It's like, how do you say he sucks when he actually is really good just because everybody else?
I'm just saying it's hard to compare. Like, obviously, he's good enough to be a starter at this university, but at the same time, when you take a player, a lot of times you go and look at how they played against somebody else from another school and the competitiveness of that school. North Dakota State didn't have many games against top-tier NCAA talent besides Colorado, which even then was like, Colorado's got some ups and downs at different positions. When you look at these guys from SEC schools, from Big Ten schools, from Big 12 schools, they're playing the best of the best almost every single week besides the first couple of weeks where they're playing like, Arkansas State. So it's just harder to kind of gauge Zabel's performance if it were against guys like Mason Graham or Kenneth Grant, or Walter Nolan. It's how would they do against that, and you only have the Senior Bowl to go off of, which is a good way. And also sometimes it's like a little bit different because there's not as much teamwork because these are all random guys that are pulled together. So there's a lot of factors. But again, I'm not saying it's going to be horrible. It's just I don't feel like this is a surefire. Oh, he's going to be great. There's a floor and a ceiling, and I feel like with players from outside of Division One, FBS, the floor and the ceiling can really kind of stretch a little bit because you could end up with guys that are amazing like Cooper Kupp, and you could end up with Trey Lance. Okay, moving on. Pick number 19, Emeka Egbuka. Phenomenal athlete from Ohio State. I like it. Mike Evans is getting older. Great point by Prisco there. Really good pick.
Exactly that, yeah.
Also,
Mike Evans is getting up there in years.
Baker ain't that young. You could get a really good relationship between them.
Yeah, and also I see the reasoning, and the reasoning actually makes sense of why they got him. Like it's just one of those things. Like some teams, they pick like this is best player. It's like, what's the reason? He's the best player like available. It's like, but do you think it could fit?
What's the reason?
Or like with the reason? Yeah, I know. It's like that's a reason. But then for this one, it's like, oh, you could see why of Mike Evans probably getting older, probably a little bit for the future. Chris Godwin injury. Yeah. Like it's one of those like, okay, you actually it's the actual thinking instead of just best player. Like,
yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, I like it. Not much else to say. Number 20, Jahad Barron, cornerback out of Texas, going to the Broncos, who just came away with their Defensive Player of the Year in Patrick Surtain. So hopefully pairing someone very good with him to make an even stronger secondary. The Sean Payton defense again. Yeah, I like it. Hopefully he turns out well. There were some moments against some SEC opponents where he did have a couple blown coverages here and there, but that can happen. So hopefully, we'll see how that shakes out in the NFL. Again, none of these guys are going to be none of these guys we know are going to be amazing. Some could be busts. We don't know, but this could be very good. They could have 2 lockdown corners in Denver, and Mile High could be a no-fly zone. All right, moving on to the 21st pick, Derek Hammond, defensive line out of Oregon. They do need young players in the offensive line, but again, Rogers still hasn't signed, and you still have Yeah, sorry, that's what I meant. You need young guys in the defensive line, but Rogers still isn't signed. Like, would it be wise just to try to take a quarterback? I don't know. Like, so much about the Steelers is just like,
Well, your name tree's
the Steelers.
happy.
Is there any?
just
Your name tree's happy about it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, he's actually happy about them not taking it.
Not taking Sanders right now.
Yeah, Shador. I don't know do many fan bases want Shador?
It's hard to, well, considering Utree's reaction I'm seeing right now, where he's got both arms up, like, yes, thank God.
Like, it's kind of weird because it's
hard
like
to tell.
Hard to tell, and also it wasn't that many teams that needed a QB. Like, well, I mean, that many. It's not like last year where it was like almost 10 teams needing a QB.
Yeah,
there's like 3 I could think of right now: Steelers, Giants,
and Titans, and I honestly think Browns and Raiders
soon. Yeah,
I said this earlier.
Well, the Raiders got Geno.
Screams to me.
Oh yeah.
This pick tells me that they're still holding out hope that Aaron Rodgers is going to sign with them, and he's just going to carry on, just holding out as much as he wants to until they get like wicked desperate and give him like as much leverage as they possibly can give up for a stubborn organization such as this.
Classic, wicked desperate. All right, number 22. I totally thought this would be a Will Johnson pick here, but the Chargers needed a running back, and they went with Omarion Hampton of UNC, who's a very, very big running back, 6 foot 220, really strong runner. Jim Harbaugh knows what he wants in running backs, so it's a nice pick. I like it.
It's another weapon for Justin Herbert, so he doesn't have to give it to Quentin Johnson either. So I like it.
Yeah.
So I like the pick. It's a good pick. They needed a running back, and they got a pretty good one. Hampton had some really tough runs at the University of North Carolina. Moving on, for the first time in 22...
he was definitely the...
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, I was going to say, just he was always the number 2 running back behind Ginty, and basically, just massive dude, amazing runner, can like blow through coverage. He's great pick for them, honestly. But anyway, as we discussed earlier in the podcast,
first time
since 2002.
Since 2000.
Matthew Golden, wide receiver out of Texas, fastest 40 time in the combine. It's a great pick.
Is not blacking out.
I feel like the biggest issue you're going to have here is
happy.
There's going to be a necessity for him to become the wide receiver number 1 quickly. So if he can do it, amazing. If he struggles with it, there could be some problems going on with that. But we'll see. I don't think if the Packers want to be super successful, I do not think he could have the rookie year that Marvin Harrison Jr. had. You have to develop a little bit quicker than that. You got to catch up a little bit faster. Now to 24, I almost said the Giants. No, the Vikings picked Donovan Jackson, interior O-line from Ohio State. They definitely want to shore up that offensive line. 9 sacks in the playoffs from the Rams to them is not good. So shout out to a good offensive line pick there. Donovan Jackson is a very talented offensive line. Again, even though they didn't win games against Michigan, they still had to go against guys like Kenneth Grant and Mason Graham. So they're going to know how to deal with NFL strength and size. So good pick there. A trade happened, and Sean McVay said, fuck it, I don't want any of these picks, and popped out of the first round, and the Giants came in. And we immediately thought, they took our edge rusher really high up, and now Shador Sanders has dropped all this way. They're going to take Shador. And they said, nope, and they threw
take a quarterback.
Yeah, they threw the dart at a different bullseye, pun intended. Jackson, a dart with an S. Jackson with an S.
I might be thinking of a different team. I thought like
No, Jackson with an X,
go
not an
Giants.
S. S is normal. What am I saying?
But I thought
Jay?
something say like Deion Sanders is like, no, fuck you, Giants. My son's not going there. Or am I thinking of a different team?
I don't know.
You might be
know.
thinking of a different one. All I know is that I don't really understand the trade up here because judging how the rest of these picks went, Dart would have still been there when they picked in the second round.
Yeah, that's a
This
reach.
was not a need for a trade up. This is a reach. Texans are literally just taking it for draft stock that you could have used for maybe some more depth.
You mean
Yeah.
Rams? Or was that the Rams?
Rams,
trade?
yeah. No. The Rams traded with the next pick.
Houston. Yeah.
Where the
Falcons
took James. They traded the next pick where the Falcons took James Pierce Jr., edge rusher out of Tennessee. Which
I think that's a good one.
I kind of like the pick.
Something to pair with Judon.
Yeah. I mean, Walker is more of an inside linebacker anyway, so this is something on the outside you can use. I mean, Walker you could use for both in and outside, to be honest with you, but to have like a dedicated edge rusher, that was what this pick was for. Pierce has been like at one point even considered a first overall pick level player, so this is a good spot to get him at. He could be a big time steal here.
Oh, absolutely. I definitely think he could. 27th, the Ravens selected Malachi Starks, safety out of Georgia. I like it. He's a very talented player. I don't like it as a Bengals fan because it's another, really great secondary player. But again, it's starting to become really secondary heavy. And I do like the point Pete Prisco makes here. Why not an edge player? Because they have not had a really talented edge rusher, it feels like, since Terrell Suggs.
Right, they could have gotten one here too, which is a bit weird. Also, this weird, like I feel like it's almost every year, or every other year that the Ravens are taking a secondary player in the first round. Like we've seen it with Nate Wiggins, we've seen it with Kyle Hamilton, we've seen it right here where you think they finally figured out their secondary, they lose to Mahomes in the playoffs again, and they're like, okay, our secondary wasn't as good as we thought. We need to do something else now.
Not a bad. Secondaries are important. Yeah, secondaries are still important though, but I feel like there might be relying on it too heavily.
But I'm thinking it's coaching that's fuck you up against the Baltimore against the Chiefs. Like and
they're stuck with that because John Harbaugh is sticking around for another 3 years.
We'll then go to the Lions at 28. Tyleik Williams, defensive line of Ohio State. They needed some more help on the defense line. They needed help on defense just in health. It's kind of like a similar situation with the Niners. But also getting some more help on the interior offensive line because when DJ Reader came over from the Bengals, he kind of seemed to fizzle out compared to how he was. So I like the pick.
Yeah, I like it.
They say also they might have gone edge. They still have Aiden Hutchinson and also they signed another guy from the Vikings, I thought, at edge for the
They did on
Lions. I can't remember his name.
I know
Hunter.
They traded...
Darnell Hunter? Was it? No, it wasn't Darnell Hunter. Was it?
Daniil Hunter?
Was it? Or was it
they got Marcus Davenport. No, they extended Marcus Davenport. No, they released Zadarius Smith actually. They re-signed Marcus. They extended Marcus Davenport and Al-Quadin Muhammad as well.
So we have a lot there.
So that's depth. Not exactly a new arrival though.
Yeah, we'll see. But not a bad pick. Shoring up the defensive line. Definitely an issue they had, but a lot of that was from injury. So I don't know how much you can really take a new pick and slide it in there, and hopefully it does better. Just when health is the problem. Then at 29, Josh Connerly Jr. out of Oregon, offensive tackle. More protection for
Jaden Daniels.
I wanted to say Jalen Hurts. No. Because Jalen Hurts' team, the Eagles, were pressuring him a ton in that NFC Championship, so they need more protection for him. Give him more time. He's already an amazing quarterback. You've already got a really good roster, good coaching. Like, this is looking great for Washington. Now they just add some more protection. That's great. Love it.
And it could probably help it could probably help the rushing attack too.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be just for protecting Jaden Daniels.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah. Moving on now to the 30th pick. The Bills do not trade with the Chiefs this year. Great job, guys. Screwing up the secondary with Maxwell Harrison, cornerback out of, I almost said the United Kingdom. That's the University of Kentucky. My bad, Wildcats fans.
Personally, the only reason I'm giving this a downside is because this is quite possibly one of the best cornerbacks in the draft, and I have to play against him 2 times a year now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So hopefully this guy ends up being a very good defensive force because the Bills always end up seeming to play some of the best passing teams in the NFL every year. The Bengals, the Chiefs, then they're also going to end up playing what seems like to be a very up-and-coming New England Patriots passing offense with Drake May. So there's a lot of opportunity for Max Ferguson to show how talented he can be at the corner. Then Jahad Campbell for Bama. A phenomenal linebacker. Amazing talent and athleticism, but had a couple injuries early in college, but seemed to have moved past them. So good pick. I like it. Very athletic too. He can do a lot of. It's kind of funny. A lot of people were saying that he could have been the tush push stopper because of his jumping ability, but now he's on the tush push team. So.
Yeah, that's true.
Now I'm thinking of the linebacking core now. Zach Bond, Nolan Carter, Jacoby Dean.
Jacoby Dean is coming off an injury, so if he's not ready to start right away, that's your fill-in at the moment.
I mean, also at the same time, it could be too much of a good thing, or there could be some trade leverage coming in the former. You know how Howie works.
Yep. Well, there was talks of also on Howie trading Dallas Goedert.
Goddard.
I don't know if it's something with the contract thing or not.
Well, if you go out and you get I can't remember his name, but the tight end from Bowling Green, maybe it might be worth to deal Goddard off for some advantageous picks.
So
Goddard's contract right now.
Eagles have open trade negotiations over the last several months for tight end Dallas Goedert. 30-year-old tight end is looking for a long-term extension and carries a cap charge of over $11 million in 25. Something with
potential out year, and his cap hits just over $9 million. And he's owed $11.7 million next year. It's definitely something you get out of early if Howie doesn't want to retain him and go for a younger thing because he turns 30 this season, or he's already 30. That's when. Not necessarily. That's what a lot of people see it as for players. It's all downhill from here.
Then finally, the final pick in the first round of the draft. Kind of funny that the Chiefs got it from the Eagles. The Eagles were like, "Yeah, you can pretend you win the Super Bowl, I guess." They get the final pick. Josh Simmons, offensive tackle from Ohio State. Very talented offensive tackle, strong, 6'5", 317, but has some injury issues, is recovering from a torn patella currently. So I like what Pete said here about not having to rush him back, but also they seem to have an offensive tackle for the future, which they do need because their offensive tackles have been under a lot of scrutiny from most
way
opposing
too off
fans.
To the side.
Way too off to the side, out of position, jumping off sides a lot. Refs not calling it.
Got destroyed in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, but that's what happens. That's what happens when you go against that very talented Eagles defense and their pass rushers. So, but this is a good way to give Mahomes more time. Mahomes more time.
Mahomes ketchup.
Mahomes ketchup. Don't go with mustard. So,
that's not bad.
I like the pick. Josh Simmons. I was happy they didn't play much against Michigan. Because he is talented. But again, Ohio State ran up the gut a ton against Kenneth Grant and
for nearly 2,000 days since Ohio State hasn't beaten a Michigan team.
Damn right. Hasn't beaten the University of Michigan. I believe they have absolutely. Yeah, I believe they've absolutely beaten the living dog shit out of the Spartans. So, but again, in the past 2 years, who hasn't? I feel bad for the Spartans. They've their football program has had a rough time. But anyway, that's college football. Not just yet. But that is the first round of the draft. Round 2, we'll start off with the Cleveland Browns. Houston also dropped back here.
Browns got 2 picks in the first 5 picks of the second round. So
yeah.
It's probably from their trade up with Jacksonville.
Shador Sanders, Shiloh Sanders.
They take both the Sanders brothers there. That'd be funny.
Yeah.
A reach and a half for Shiloh, though.
Yeah, that's probably like 7 rounds too far.
According to PFF, like the highest I'm seeing like Shiloh picked is like near the end of the 7th.
Cool.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness! Can you imagine if one team decides to give him Mr. Irrelevant?
Well, the Mr. Relevant team, I think, actually go to the end of round 7. Who is the Mr. Relevant team this year?
No.
The Chiefs.
They do need corners.
Oh, that'd be funny.
Shiloh can play some corner.
Isn't he more ranked as like a full safety
Generally
though? Free
plays more
safety though.
safety. Bengals don't even have a
Yeah.
7th round pick. What the hell? Cincinnati Bengals. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, no 7. So we traded a 7th somewhere. Yeah, this better all be defensive, or maybe a guard, maybe one guard if some guy drops to us well. But yeah, that is.
Will Johnson falls to you. That'd be funny.
I could maybe just because people are really worried about his knee injury, but again, he plays very good. Like this last year was rough because of his injury, but the year before that, the national championship season, wow, it's amazing.
You better hope he can get back to that form if you draft him.
I believe he can. I absolutely believe he can. I've witnessed what he's done firsthand. But thank you for tuning in. This has been our Week 4 coverage of the UFL and our Week 5 preview, and also our coverage of the week or the first day of the NFL draft. We will cover it more in depth, kind of. We won't go over every pick like we did for the first round, but we will definitely next week cover a lot of the NFL draft picks that have happened in rounds 2 through 7 because they'll be over by that time, because they stretch this thing out. Like, again, they stretched it out for so long. Like, the draft started at 8 and it just ended about at maybe 11:30, 11:45. Ridiculous.
The first 5 picks way quickly, though.
They did, and I think
because the team
Dell's like, we need more TV time. Slow it down. Click. But yeah, enjoy the football. There's still a lot of UFL action. Some good teams. Let's see how the Battlehawks Stanley Cup playoffs are happening, and NBA playoffs are happening. Baseball's in But yeah, for myself, KDF and Macedon, thank you for watching the Football Studios. We hope you enjoyed. Make sure to like the video and enjoy football, even in the spring. And most importantly, run the damn ball. Have a good night.
Thank you for giving me a left tackle, Elliot Wolf and Mike Vrabel.